Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Public Works for today, Wednesday, October 18th, 2017.
Commissioner Rivas, Repenning, James, Davis, and Jacinto are present. President James, we do have a quorum. May we start with Bureau introductions, please, starting with Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Tim Tyson, Bureau of Street Services.
Good morning, Jose Garcia, Bureau of Sanitation.
Good morning.
Mahmoud Karimzadeh, Bureau of Engineering.
Good morning. Kimberly Fitzpatrick, Bureau of Contract Administration.
Good morning, Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting.
Good morning, Ted Jordan, Public Works General Counsel.
Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. President James, we do not have any speaker cards under general public comment. We also did not receive any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section. We did receive speaker cards on item number 10, and we also received email comments on item number, we received speaker cards on item number 12. We received email comments on item number 10, which has been distributed to all commissioners.
Okay. Is there a second to my motion that we approve the meeting minutes from the meeting of Tuesday, September 19th, 2017 by Commissioner Repenning? Any objection? With that objection, we will approve those meeting minutes. Let's take agenda items 2, 3, 4, and 5, assessment hearings in council districts 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 13. Mr. Flamenco.
Ruben Flamenco, Bureau of Street Lighting. Items 2, 3, and 5 pertain to lighting district, which we are creating in conjunction with private development projects. Item 4 pertains to a lighting district, which we are creating in conjunction with a Bureau of Street Lighting initiated LED conversion project. Only public parcels are impacted. No private parcels are included in this lighting district. Ballots for items 2 to 5 were mailed on September 6, 2017. Ballots for items 2 to 5 must be received by the City Clerk's office by next Wednesday, October 25th. We have not received any objections to date on items 2 to 5. We are requesting for the board to adopt and forward items 2 to 5 forthwith to City Council.
Any questions on 2, 3, 4, or 5? I'll make, Commissioner Santos made a motion that we adopt agenda items 2 through 5. I'll second it. Any objection? Along with Commissioner Davis, any objection? With that objection, we will adopt agenda items 2 through 5. Any issues sending them forthwith? We will send them forthwith. Dr. Campos, we don't have any general public comment cards, correct?
That is correct.
I will close general public comment as well as the Neighborhood Council category of commentary. Agenda item number 1, bids received today for the secondary sewer renewal program, Daly Street and North Main Street. Dr. Campos, and in Council Districts 1 and 14.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Office. Sir, the bids to be open today is for the secondary sewer renewal program P01B for Boyd, Daly Street, and North Street. This is in Council District 1 and 14. The city has estimated this project to be at $3,095,270 even. The first bid received is from Vasilch Incorporated for a total bid amount of $3,216,405.75. That's 3216405.75 from Vasilch Incorporated. For the record, line item number 1, line item number 48, line item number 64 has whiteout, but it has been initialed by the contractor. The second bid received for this project is from Kolich & Sons, LP, for a total bid amount of $4,492,268 even. That's 4492268 from Kolich & Sons, LP. For the record, line item 24 has been lined out and initialed by the contractor. The third bid received for this project is from Ramona Incorporated for a total bid amount of $3,570,464 even. That's 3570464 from Ramona Incorporated. The fourth and final bid received for this project is from MNR Construction Incorporated for a total bid amount of $3,668,709.70. That's 3668709.70 from MNR Construction Incorporated. President James, that concludes the bid openings for today's agenda.
Thank you. Is there a second to my motion that the bids be declared opened here in open session by and approved by Commissioner Jacinto, seconded by Commissioner Davis? Any objection? With that objection, we will do so and send them back forthwith. Agenda item number 11, Subcontract Outreach Program Report, Carollo Engineers Incorporated, Design Support Services during construction for the Penmar Water Quality Improvement Project Phase 2 and Temescal Canyon Park Stormwater Best Management Practices Project Phase 2, requesting that we receive and file the report. Good morning.
Good morning. My name is Lindsay Naish with the Bureau of Engineering, Propo Clean Water Division. On July 12, 2017, your board approved the award of a sole source task order to Carollo Engineers for continued design services during construction on the Penmar Water Quality Improvement and Temescal Canyon Park Stormwater BMP Phase 2 projects. This was done to prevent a lapse in services because the existing contract was expiring. At that time, we were asked to report back with business inclusion program values for the new task order. Both projects are about 70% complete with construction. These separate but very similar Propo projects are constructing on-site treatment systems to reuse stormwater for irrigation at Penmar and Temescal Canyon parks. About 80% of Carollo's work was completed on the previous on-call contract, and they have already exceeded the anticipated minority business enterprise and women business enterprise participation levels at 15.3% and 2.2% respectively. The new sole source contracts pledged participation levels are generally low, but are based on the small amount of work left to complete. At the close of this contract, overall participation levels for MBE and WBE are expected to be 15.4% and 2.5% respectively. That concludes my report. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions at all? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for the updated report. The report will be received. Agenda item number 7, same request, Council District 15, Subcontract Outreach Program Report, Tetra Tech Incorporated, Pre-Design, Design, and Design Support Services during construction for the Aliso Creek, Lime Kiln, you'll tell me when you get here, Creek Restoration Project, to receive and file the report. Mr. Flores, how do you say that one?
Lime Kiln.
Lime Kiln. I
Yes,
was
sir.
right the second time.
Yes.
All right.
My name is Andy Flores. I'm with the Bureau of Engineering's Propositional Program Clean Water Division. Back on July 12th, your board approved sole source TOS number 11 to Tetra Tech to continue consultant design services for the Aliso Creek, Lime Kiln Creek Restoration Project. This was done to prevent a lapse in services because at the time the original contract was expiring. In addition, BRE was to come back and report on the status of the minority business enterprise, women business enterprise, and other business enterprise subcontractor outreach program. And I have a handout here. Okay, if we take a look, the anticipated values for the city, anticipated values were 10% MBE and 2% WBE. Tetra Tech pledged 17.9% and 4.8%. To date, at 70% completion, they have achieved 14.5% and MBE and 2.17% WBE. At the performance, they're ahead of schedule on MBE and a little bit behind schedule on WBE. But looking forward, I think we're going to actually meet our goals on this project. Going forward, with the new sole source, it includes the business inclusion program. And the numbers there are fairly good. Anticipated MBE is 18. We have 25. WBE 4, we have 12. SBE 25, we have 12.5. EB 8, we have 0. DB, Disabled Veterans Business Enterprise, we have expected is 3%, and we have 0. But this was just a snapshot when they were already at 70%, and we were just rolling over the work from the original TOS to the new TOS. So they truly did not propose on the sole source. That concludes my presentation.
Okay. Any questions at all from Mr. Flores on agenda item number 3? I don't have any questions. Thank you, sir, for the update. Appreciate it. Very helpful. And I'll make a motion that we receive and file the report. Is there a second? By Commissioner Jacinto. Any objection? With that objection, we will do so. Agenda item number 4. I'm sorry. Wait a minute. I called that number 3. That was number 6, wasn't it?
Number 7.
Okay.
Number 7.
That was number 7. I've got my numbers mixed up. Agenda item number 8, Council District 10. Budget increase and change order number 1. Matthew and Stewart Company, Masco, Super Expedited Wastewater Emergency Rehabilitation for Sewers Program, that's Sewers 5 Woodlawn Project, recommending that the board authorize $50,000 in additional contingency and approve a revised construction budget of $150,000 for the project. And secondly, authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 1 to Masco for the project to compensate the contractor for extra work as discussed in the report. Mr. Garawi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Salim Garawi. I'm with the Wastewater Conveyance Construction Division. Before you is a request to increase the budget of 30 and issue change order number 1 to Masco and Matthew and Stewart Company Incorporated for Woodlawn Avenue 4300 project, which is one of Sewers 5's project. Staff recommends approving $50,000 in additional contingency and increase the project budget to $150,000. Number 2, authorize the city engineer to issue change order number 1 to Matthew and Stewart Company Incorporated. The Woodlawn Avenue project is located in South Los Angeles between 43rd Street and Vernon. The construction order was issued to Matthew and Stewart Company Incorporated as the lowest bidder. During construction, the contractor encountered some unforeseen condition and was instructed to hand dig to avoid damaging existing utilities and to also remove railroad ties and to remove and reconstruct portion of the existing median. Additionally, the contractor encountered type C soil, which negatively impacted the construction operation. In order to compensate the contractor for the unforeseen condition, we need to issue change order number 1 for the contractor. The issuance of change order number 1 will force the budget to exceed $100,000, and therefore we're asking the board to approve an increase in the project budget and issue change order number 1 with an additional $50,000 contingency. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll start with Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Solemn, thank you for this report. You know, for these sewers projects, we come in with a certain expectation of time and materials. And then when we get in there, we start to dig or we see the site conditions, it changes somewhat. And sometimes we have to do extra work in this case, the type C soil and some of the damage. So that's sort of a normal and customary part of this type of work, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Anything further? I don't have any questions. Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 8, seconded by Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 8. Any issue sending 8 forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Thank you, Mr. Barrawi.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 9, Council District 4, protest to weed abatement charge 2265-010-020. That is the identity of the property on the tax rolls. The address is 14554 Moore Park Street. Recommending that the board approve the report and that the charge of $1,802.50 be reduced to one time only to $346.73 as assessed against the property described as 2265-010-020 as levied on the 2015 secured property tax roll in the name of Theodore Polychronis, 1611 North Pacific Avenue, Glendale, California, 91202. Mr. Claros. This is the refund. You can just summarize what happened here.
Good morning, Charles Caleros, Bureau of Street Services, Black Clean Division. Good morning, Mr. President, Commissioners, Board members. This was an assessment to the property described there by work performed by the city, and then it was levied onto his property. Although there were some errors by the supervisor at that particular time for the amount that he charged for the work at hand. And basically, in my opinion, looking at the photographs and he was overcharged. We got together with you, Mr. Commissioner, sometime back, I don't remember the date, and we sat down behind closed doors with Mr. Theodore Polychronis.
Well, we sat down with the applicant.
I'm sorry?
We sat down with the applicant.
Yes, the
yes,
claimant.
so with the appellant, yes. Go ahead.
And we all agreed, you and I, we agreed, based off of my recommendation, you agreed, based off of the evidence and to reduce a one-time reduction in that charge with a refund going back to Mr. Polychronis, which he has paid those taxes back whenever they were due on that tax assessment of 2015. Now, who would give him the refund? I'm not sure if it would be the county tax assessor's office at this point, because, when we assess our assessment road to them, somehow money swings back around back to Public Works. I don't know if that has taken place.
Well, all we can do is authorize the refund.
Okay. All right. Well, that's pretty much the story on that.
Yeah. And I would just add, go ahead, Dr. Campos.
Yeah, Charles, thank you for the report. Just really quickly, in terms of the refund, the recommendation before you is just to reduce the liability from that $1,802 down to $346. There would be a requirement to amend this report to authorize that refund. I will be more than happy to work with the Bureau of Street Services along with the CAO's office and the Controller's office to determine if that money indeed has been received. I believe the testimony indicates that it has been received by the city. So if it has passed the statute of limitations, we may be able to issue the refund here with the city directly to Mr. Polychronis. If not, then we would authorize the county tax assessor and the tax collector to do the refund either through an offset of the liability for the next property tax roll or to a check back to Mr. Polychronis.
What do we normally do when we have these refund issues?
If it has passed the statute of limitation, i.e. typically about 4 or 5 years, then we will go ahead and authorize that refund directly from us. If it has been within a year or two and they still haven't settled the tax roll, if you will, or the county hasn't done their final reconciliation, then we would request that the property owner be refunded or credited back.
Okay. Does it require on this item, if we approve the reduction, does it require another attempt here at the board, another hearing here at the board for the subsequent action that you've described, or can that be done administratively?
I don't believe so. I think that can be done administratively. What we do require is just the authorization to do the refund of the delta between the 1802 and the 346.
So we would make that amendment here this morning then. Okay. Let me just add to the record my recollection from the hearing, which I do recall. Mr. Polychronis agreed that the value of the work done was basically the $346 that you had initially put on the table, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Right. He was not in disagreement with that. He agreed to that.
Yes.
Okay. Any other questions? And that would be my motion and my recommendation as amended to give Dr. Campos and his office the further authority to do what's necessary to effect the refund to the appellant. Is there a second? By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 9. Any issue sending it forthwith? We will send it forthwith. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 10, there's been a request. Mr. Tyson? Just an FYI. I'm not even going to take the time to read it into the record. Number 10 is a tree removal in Council District 2 at 3961 North Oeste Avenue. There has been a request that the item be continued. They didn't ask for a specific amount of time, but one of the issues that was raised, the request came from a member of the adjacent community, and one of the issues that the member of the community raised was that some of the documents online were unable to upload. I think it's probably the map and a couple of other things perhaps. So we need to continue the item, and my recommendation would be, first let's get that fixed today if we can get that information up. Dr. Campos can communicate with the member of the community and let them know when the website and the link is working, so they can get all the information that they need. My recommendation would be to continue the item 3 weeks from today. That way they have the opportunity to digest what is there and to respond accordingly. They may or may not have an objection, but they at least have some questions. 3 weeks from today is what?
That would be Wednesday, November 8th.
Wednesday, November 8th. Okay? Is that okay with you, Mr. Tyson?
Absolutely, and they're absolutely correct. The maps are here. They need to be scanned in, and they were not added in as the attachments. Once I realized what this was saying, they weren't there.
Yeah. Okay. We'll continue it for 3 weeks to November 8th, 2017. Thank you, sir. Any objection to that? Great. So that's what we will do. Agenda item number 11. Request to establish and approve the Board of Public Works holiday and recess schedule for calendar year 2018. This is obviously a very important agenda item this morning. Recommending that the board establish and approve the proposed Board of Public Works holiday and recess schedule for the calendar year 2018. Mr. Campos.
Thank you, Mr. President. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer. The item before you is just to simply establish and approve the holiday and recess schedule for calendar year 2018. Just to give you an idea as to how many days we're asking for non-meeting days, there's 21 days in total. Of those 21 days, there's 10 of those days that are legal holidays that this board would have otherwise been in recess due to those holidays. And then we are proposing 4 non-legal holidays. One is Good Friday on March 30th. The second is the beginning of Ramadan holiday, which is about a 30-day period, but we would only observe the first day, which would be Wednesday, May 16, 2018. In addition to that, we are requesting 2 additional days for the Jewish holidays for Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur on September 10th and also September 19th. In addition to that, there are 2 recess periods, one for the summer recess period and one for the winter recess period. Although they're considered recess periods, there are holidays in between those weeks. For summer, we are asking for 1 week off, one of those days being 4th of July, so there's just an additional 2 days. And then for the winter recess, there is a total of 7 days, of which 2 holidays fall within those 7-day period.
That's the same schedule that we did for 2017, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so there's no additional days from 2017?
No additional days. However, there was a shift from the 2017 calendar year versus the 2018 calendar year for the winter recess, in that the holidays fell right on a Monday or a Wednesday. I believe this time they fell on a Tuesday. So therefore, we pushed it out by 1 additional day. So for example, this year in 2017, we will last be in meeting on Monday, December 18th, and then we will start our recess on December 20th, whereas next year in 2018, we would start our recess on the 21st.
But that's because of when Christmas Day fell.
Christmas and then New Year's as well.
Great. Any questions? All right, I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 11. Seconded by Commissioner Repenning. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 11. Any issue sending number 11 forthwith? We will send number 11 forthwith. Agenda item number 12, Council District 4, above-ground facility appeal, 590 North Beechwood Drive on the Clinton side of the lot. Commissioner Jacinto recommending that the board I know everybody's held in suspense. Deny Jennifer Fitzgerald and Dan Butts' appeal of the Bureau of Engineering's determination to locate the AGF adjacent to 590 North Beechwood Drive on the Clinton side of the lot. Mr. Ledoux? The only speaker cards we have the two from AT&T, correct, Mr. Campos?
I only received 2, correct.
Okay. Mr. Ledoux, if I recall maybe just for a quick summary, a week ago, I think, maybe exactly a week ago? Or was it 2 weeks ago?
It was 2 weeks, I believe.
2 weeks have passed already? 1 week.
1 week.
Okay, yeah, 1 week. So, all right. So, the issue, one of the issues was, there was an LAPD email that was printed. I don't know if it was an email or a letter. If it was a letter, it was unsigned.
A letter.
Yeah. Unsigned letter, but no reason to indicate that it didn't come from the person that was named at the bottom of it. And there was some issue with finding out more detail if there was any additional concerns or if there was attempt at further clarity. And the senior lead officer of the SLO in the area hadn't responded. And my recollection was that Commissioner Davis was going to, had offered to help in the process and at least see if there were any further answers to the question of dealing with a shaded side of a home that had at least a 6-foot wall probably, and then additional feet of foliage on top of that, correct?
Correct.
Where are we now on that?
I don't know if Commissioner Davis talked to the police officer. I know that AT&T has some information on that. Also, I did receive an email dated today at 9:10 a.m. from the appellant, Jennifer Fitzgerald, saying she had an alternate solution, which would be to move the cabinets from the one corner, one end of the property to the other end, same side of the property, but opposite ends. I got this so late that I'm not prepared to really give any kind of analysis on moving it from one corner to the other corner of the property, but I know AT&T has looked at that alternate and they can comment on her alternate suggestion.
Okay, well, let's hear that first before we have to put the other issue on the table. Maybe we have some solution, and maybe not. Gentlemen, good to see you again.
Thank you, sir. Morning, Mr. President, commissioners, executive staff. My name is Noel Pele. I'm with AT&T. I'm joined by my colleague, John Johnston. With regards specifically to the alternate location that was proposed, that was received by Jeff via the email, there are some logistical constraints that would prohibit us from moving forward on that, which my colleague John can go ahead and speak with a little bit more detail on.
Just a little.
I will limit that, sir. We have to stay 25 feet from the left side of a driveway before we can place our cabinet. We also have to stay out from under the canopy of trees. Both of those disqualify that location.
Okay. Commissioner Davis?
The police officer was supposed to call you.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so can you tell us if that happened?
Yes, thank you very much for your leadership on this. I did have a chance to speak with the Senior Lead Officer Pelayo yesterday early afternoon. I did relay to him what we had proposed at our previous meeting, which was the alternate location, which was approximately 8 feet to the west of the initially proposed location. I let him know that this location did receive a little bit more natural sunlight during the day. A little bit later on during the day, he did appreciate that information. His concern was that it was going to be in an area that's going to be a little bit more shaded. And full disclosure is he would actually would have preferred that it be at or near the intersection. I let him know that because we need to go ahead and abide by the AGF. There are certain distance requirements, and the closer we can go ahead and move it over to the corner would be the alternate location, which is, as I mentioned, 8 feet away. He did state that he appreciated us moving forward on that and taking the neighborhood into consideration on that. To that, I want to go ahead and also mention for the record that per the installation, as we have mentioned before, we do also then install 2 plants on either side of the cabinet in order for it to grow into it and, in essence, shield the cabinet from it. I let him know that we can go ahead and do that. We do have a set template of plants that we can go ahead and use on that. I let him know that we made the offer to other neighbors in other communities that if they so choose to opt for another type of plant, that they could go ahead and purchase it and we would go ahead and install it at that point. He appreciated us making that offer. He said that he would also go ahead and relay that information to Ms. Fitzgerald. But as it was right now, he did not oppose the alternate location that was proposed.
Okay. And the alternate location moving it 8 feet to the west meets within the above-ground facilities ordinance?
Correct. It does meet within the specifications of that, though. And again, my colleague John can speak more clearly with regards to, because of his upbringing and his military background, how we do have some photos, how it would have more natural sunlight during later on into the afternoon.
Okay.
So it's not an allurement for the homeless.
I don't know that I need that detail. We went through it last time. Mr. Ledoux, could I just get your confirmation on the record here this morning that the alternate location of moving it 8 feet to the west on at the same parcel is satisfactory to the Bureau of Engineering?
It's satisfactory with us.
Okay. Then any questions? Thank you, Commissioner Davis, for your help with this. My recommendation, I would make the motion that we adopt agenda item number 12, amended to include the movement of the infrastructure to the cabinet 8 feet to the west as described by the representative from AT&T. Is there a second on that this morning? By Commissioner Rivas. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 12 as amended. Any issue sending it forthwith? We will send it forthwith as amended. Thank you all for your additional work on this and for coming back this morning. And thank you to Ms. Fitzgerald as well for her assistance and work with this. Agenda item number 13, our quarterly acceptance report, Sewer 1 Storm Drain Repair, recommending that the board accept the 86 sewer and 6 storm drain projects of the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program, as indicated in the attached project summaries tables. Mr. Ollinger. Hello.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for your acceptance on the Emergency Sewer Storm Drain Quarterly Report. Accept the 86 sewer and 6 storm drain projects for the Emergency Sewer and Storm Drain Repair Program as indicated in the attached project summaries. The period covered for emergency sewer repair projects completed was from 2012 to March 22nd, 2017, and the period covered for the emergency storm drain projects completed was from 2015 to April 5th, 2017. The emergency projects represented in this quarterly report were initiated by the Bureau of Sanitation to make necessary repairs to the city's sewer and storm drain systems. These 92 construction orders represent a subset of the emergency sewer and storm drain work inspected by BCA during this reporting period. Are there any questions?
I don't have any questions. Anybody else have any questions on it? Thank you. I just would repeat something that I say every time I think when you guys come in on this. This was an expedited process that we agreed to some years ago with this board, but 2 or 3 years ago, to do these all at once so you all don't have to come in 86 separate times for each of these, to expedite the process really for everyone and to save administrative costs. So with that, thank you, sir. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 13. Is there a second on it? By Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 13. Any issue sending it forthwith? We will send number 13 forthwith. Thank you. Agenda item number 14, Council District 15, contract acceptance, Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant, tertiary filter rehabilitation. Recommending that the board accept the contract. Mr. Ollinger, you're here for that as well.
Good morning, John Ollinger, Bureau of Contract Administration. I'm here to ask for your acceptance on the Terminal Island Water Reclamation Plant tertiary filter rehabilitation project. Work order was SCT 11342, contract 125780. This contract was executed by your board on May 20th, 2015 in the amount of $5,943,685. The construction was completed under J.F. Shea on March 6, 2017. The project provided for the rehabilitation and conversion of the existing 16 tertiary filters to deep bed gravity flow filters with monominia beds consisting of coarse sand. Are there any other questions?
Any questions on agenda item number 14? I don't have any questions on that one either. Is there a motion on 14 by Commissioner Cento? I'll second it. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 14. Any issue sending 14 forthwith? We will send number 14 forthwith. Thank you.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 15 for Council Districts 3 and 13. Contract acceptance for the sidewalk repair program. Small sidewalk work package number 3. Recommending that the board accept the contract. Mr. McReynolds, good to see you, sir.
Yeah, good morning, President James, Commissioners. Brett McReynolds, Bureau of Contract Administration. I too am here to request that you accept the package number 3 of the small contractor sidewalk repair program with the company LA Electricom. On October 21st, 2016, your board established the list of small first-time contractors for the sidewalk repair program. Subsequently, a contract was issued to LA Electricom in the amount of $84,840 to perform sidewalk repairs in Council Districts 3 and 13. 2 change orders were issued, decreasing the contract by 7.85% for a total of $78,181. All work, including final corrections, were completed on May 2nd. The contractor has complied with EEO and labor requirements, and if no specific MBE, WB levels were established for this contract. So if no unresolved property complaints, and if you have any questions, otherwise we're good.
Commissioner Repenning, we'll start with you.
Sure. I just wanted to point out to my colleagues, we approved the list just about a year ago, and this is the third package of work that we are looking to award. And I just want to, I think I want to make sure that next year, as we're heading into our budget preparations and looking at what we want to make sure that we advocate for, I want to make sure that this is on our list. I know we all care a lot about using the small sidewalk list, and that it's been a sort of model for what we want to try to do in terms of making our contracting work easier to access for smaller businesses, for businesses that may better reflect the diversity of our city. And so just making sure that we continue to actually put work out to the list is very important to me, as I know it is to all of you. Thank you.
Great. Thank you. So, Commissioner Penning, Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Brett, thank you for this. The quality of work of our small contractors, basically, how'd they do? How'd this one do?
Well, this particular contractor was really exceptional, actually. LA Electricom, they unfortunately weren't able to utilize the transitional worker program that we have, because most work was self-performed, but they were very cooperative, and this particular contract is a good example of how successful the program can be. I know Robert Vega's here right now with Bureau of Engineering, and there are a couple more of these projects in the pipeline. But yes, to answer your question, it was very good quality.
Excellent. And to Vice President Repenning's point, this is basically what we're doing in terms of reaching out, giving opportunities. I know Commissioner Davis has also said this on the street median program. If we could expand that and get more local, smaller contractors so that we can take care of all the different aspects in the different regions and districts of Los Angeles, that's a good thing. So thank you, Brett.
Duly noted. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything further? Okay, thank you. Is there a motion on agenda item number 15 by Commissioner Davis, seconded by Commissioner Jacinto? Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt agenda item number 15. Any issue sending 15 forthwith? We will send number 15 forthwith. Agenda item number 16, requested contract award, super expedited wastewater emergency rehabilitation for sewers project. Recommending that the board approve Matthew and Stewart Company Incorporated. One moment, before we go to agenda item number 16, Mr. Grawi, let me go to the specials. So we'll come right back to you in just a moment, okay, sir. Special number 1 and special number 2. So we'll adjourn the regular meeting. Let's go to the special meeting. Mr. Campos, go ahead, sir, for the roll call.
Roll call for the special meeting. We have Commissioner Rivas, Commissioner Repenning, Vice President James, Commissioner Davis, and Commissioner Jacinto. President James, we do have a quorum. We do not have any speaker cards at this time for any of the special items.
Okay.
No commentary also from the neighborhood council.
I've got a card on special 1 and 2 from AT&T. So other than that, no cards, correct?
I stand corrected, yes.
Okay, then we will close public comment on special 1 and 2. Actually, 2 and 3. 1 is withdrawn. Number 2 and 3 are both above-ground facilities in Council District 14. Let's call number 2 and Mr. Ledoux, and then we'll get a summary of where we are. Above-ground facility variance, 709 West 6th Street. Recommending that the board approve the request for a variance from the height limitation requirements of the above-ground facility ordinance pursuant to LA Municipal Code Section 6208 VB. And secondly, authorize AT&T Mobility to install a 30-foot high concrete monopole in the public right-of-way adjacent to 709 West 6th Street. Mr. Ledoux, give us the status on these two items. Were these continued pursuant to communications with the council office, et cetera?
That is correct. They were continued at the request of CD 14 as 2 of 22 packages that would have placed monopoles in the downtown historic corridor. These are the only 2 still left on the agenda. AT&T has been in negotiations with Bureau of Street Lighting to see if these both of these 2 can be co-located. As I've said, one of them is going to be co-located and has been withdrawn. The other, AT&T will have to give you an update as to where they are with Bureau of Street Lighting on it.
Okay, so one of these 2 we have an agreement on?
One of these 2 we have an agreement on.
And so we'll hear from AT&T. Mr. Palace? Between number 2 and number 3, which one is the applicant withdrawing?
Actually, Noel Pele with AT&T, we are actually withdrawing both of them now. I received commentary from my leadership and my colleagues who are working on this, that while we do have an agreement for one in good faith, we will withdraw the second application while we're still working our way with the city family on finding a suitable co-location on that one.
Great. Well, let me just say again, thank you for your continuing work on this. We appreciate the additional efforts. So much so that I interrupted the last item to call you to get you up to the podium to get you out of here.
Thank you, sir.
But I should have done it earlier, but I noticed that I had to wait until a certain time on the clock passed for the special on this.
Well, truth be told, I didn't get this information until about 10 minutes ago. I had my colleagues working on it feverishly to see if we can go ahead and share good news with Commission, yourself, and the
Worked out
executive
well
staff.
for us. All right. Well, so we will withdraw numbers 2 and 3, which they actually are on the special, and we look forward to working with you. We know we have a lot of items coming before us, and we really appreciate your working with us. All right. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You bet. So that will be the order on specials 2 and 3. So we will adjourn the special meeting. Go back to the regular meeting. Do you need to do a roll call in the regular meeting again?
No, I do not.
Okay. Mr. Garawa, you're back on number 16. I will pick up where we left off. Approving Matthew and Stewart Company, Tomovich and Associates, and M&R Construction as the qualified lowest bid price contractors to provide sewer repairs of urgent necessity under the Sewers 6 contract for a not-to-exceed cost ceiling of $30 million with a duration of 5 years. And secondly, authorize myself or 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute the signed contracts received, to execute the contracts received from the signed contracts received from the 3 approved contractors. So when they've signed it, then it comes to us. And forward the contracts to the city clerk for attestation. We will always have the city attorney's signature as well, approving it as to form. Go ahead, sir.
Yes, thank you. And the request for staff recommends one more time is the approval of Matthew and Stewart, Tomovich and Associates, and M&R Construction Incorporated as the qualified lowest bidders to provide sewers repair of urgent necessity under Sewers 6 contract for a not-to-exceed ceiling of $30 million and a duration of 5 years. Also authorize the President and 2 members of the Board of Public Works to execute a signed contract received from the 3 approved contractors and forward the 3 contracts to the city clerk for attestation. Generally, Sewers program has allowed for making timely and cost-effective repairs to the sewer system in order to keep the wastewater collection system operational. Sewer 6 contract is the 6th contract, and like its predecessors, is intended for the urgent repair of the sewers system based on requests from the Bureau of Sanitation, based on their ongoing assessment of the sewer system. Typically, when a request comes from the Bureau of Sanitation, a construction order is issued to one of the contractors as the lowest bidder, based on a quantity takeoff estimate from a list of predetermined bid item unit prices. Generally, each one of the contractors will be issued 6 construction orders, and once the lowest bidder has 6 construction orders issued, we have the option to issue the next 6 construction orders to the next lowest bidder. That's generally how Sewer 6, the previous sewers contracts functioned, and this is how we intend to also use Sewer 6 for the urgent repair of the sewer system. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? We'll start with Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Solemn, this is a waterfall table type of thing, 6 to the first, the lowest bidder, and then the next 6 contracts to the second lowest. Can you clarify that?
Yes, so when a request comes for repair, or when a request comes in, we usually select the lowest bidder based on the QTO estimate. And once the lowest bidder has 6 construction orders issued, we have the authority to issue the next 6 construction orders to the next lowest bidder. And that's the purpose of that is to make sure that all contractors have enough projects and keep them working.
Thank you for that clarification. There was a 4th applicant that, do you want to say anything about the 4th? We're good with that company did not pass?
That's correct.
The process?
That's correct.
And there was no protest?
No.
So we have the 3, and urgent is different than emergency, so this could be an increasing scope of work that we have this upcoming year, correct, for Sewer 6?
That is correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Saul.
Thank you. Anything else? I've got a couple of questions. We're in sewers, I'm going to assume, we're in sewers 5 right now?
That's correct.
How many contractors? Are we just working one contractor right now in sewers 5 or 2?
Right now we're working with 2 contractors.
We have one drop out, right?
One was terminated, yes.
And they're on this list, right?
They are on this new Sewer 6 list, yes.
That's just off the top of my head, but any concern there going forward?
Not really. The purpose of the previous termination is a misunderstanding of how the sewers contract worked, and they requested to be terminated. At this point, we made it abundantly clear how the sewers contract works, and they were present at the pre-bid meeting, and they have a full understanding how we operate. So I think they have a good understanding, and I believe, therefore, they were one of the bidders on this contract.
Right, and look, I'll say who it is, because they're on the list. It was M&R. And M&R, we work with fairly regularly. We enjoy our relationship with them. Frankly, I was happy to see them back on this list. I know that they had requested to be relieved of the list last time because there was some confusion. So it seemed to me, as you just confirmed, that if they come back and bid again, then they're likely feeling like, okay, we now have it figured out, and they've made it work in a way that works for their business and works for us, and it gives us 3 contractors instead of 2, which we would have been left with otherwise as well.
Yeah, I certainly hope that they have the good understanding of how it works, and they will remain as part of the contract.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything further? Okay, number 16, Commissioner Sintos made a motion that we adopt number 16. I'll second it along with Commissioner Davis. Any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt agenda item number 16. Any issues sending it forthwith? We'll send it forthwith. Mr. Louie, good to see you today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Agenda item number 17 is next, but I've got to find my form here. Equipment purchase 2 pumps for Bologna Creek Pumping Plant. Recommending that the board approve the purchase of the pumps with an estimated cost of $294,435. And secondly, request the Department of General Services, as authorized by the city charter, to solicit bids, select the lowest and most responsive bidder, and create a one-time purchase order for the purchase of these pumps. Number 17, do we have anybody here? 17? Good morning, sir.
Good morning. My name is Paul Blassman with the Bureau of Sanitation. We're requesting to purchase 2 pumps for the Iona Creek pumping plant. It's our 3rd largest pumping plant. It moves around 4.5 million gallons of wastewater from the Playa Vista area to Hyperion. The plant was last rehabilitated back in 2001. These pumps have an average life between 7 and 10 years, and we can rehabilitate the pumps once or twice before it becomes, it's basically a cost-effectiveness issue. These 2 pumps we're proposing to replace are original 2001 pumps, so they've quite outlived their life, and we're basically no longer able to rebuild them.
So the total cost, just so the oral record is clear, the total cost is the $294. It's not $294 each.
No, it's, I thought it was 240.
Or whatever. What did I say?
It's like,
I got my numbers backwards. 249.
249.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yes, it's the 249, 435.
Or 2 pumps.
For
They're
2
about
pumps.
125
Yeah.
apiece.
Just because the oral record, while the board report is clear, the oral record wasn't clear. So it's $249,435 for the 2 pumps. Any questions? I don't have any questions. Commissioner Davis has made a motion that we adopt agenda item number 17, seconded by Commissioner Penning. Any objection? Without objection, we will adopt number 17. Any issue? Thank you, sir. Any issue sending it forthwith?
Thank you very much.
We'll send number 17 forthwith. Number 18, authority for expenditure for Pierre Landscape Incorporated. The Bureau of Street Services and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of an authority for expenditure in the amount of well, there's a new adjusted amount. I can't read the first amount because the commas are all in the wrong place. But we've got it, is it $18,663.40? Mr. Campos?
Let me look for the authority for expenditure, and I will correct that into the record. It's $18,663.40.
Okay.
That is correct.
Great, thank you. So we're missing the decimal point there. Yeah. All right, well, a little deductive reasoning. It's a good thing I did well on the LSAT in that category. We figured that out. All right, the new adjusted amount of $143,827.37 for the month-to-month Sidewalks Maintenance Assessment District services provided for the Wilshire Miracle Mile Sidewalk Maintenance District from September 1, 2017 through October 31, 17, while a new contract is established. Sergio, you were here recently on one of these. Was it Venice or Ventura Boulevard?
I was no. This was the same
Oh,
one.
this was it.
I just miscalculated how long it was going to take to fully execute the contract.
Oh,
but I think
okay.
I have it now.
Okay.
So Sergio Samayoa, Bureau of Street Services. So I'm here to respectfully request on behalf of Office of Accounting and Bureau of Street Services approval and execution of authority for expenditure in the amount of $18,663.40 for authority for expenditure purposes to extend the month-to-month contract with Pierre Landscaping Incorporated to the end of October to avoid a gap in services associated with the Wilshire Miracle Mile Sidewalk Maintenance District. So the scope includes nighttime sidewalk cleaning, washing, maintenance of landscape medians, curbs, gutters, graffiti removal, collection of trash from receptacles, tree trimming, and other necessary work along Wilshire Boulevard between Sycamore and Fairfax. So just to not let this go too long, if you guys have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer.
Commissioner Rivas.
Hi.
How is this funded? Is this funded by like a business improvement district or?
It's actually it's similar, but it's funded through assessments. It's a sidewalk maintenance assessment district. Okay. And
so the local businesses on that street.
Right, all the property owners that benefit from all this maintenance, because this is over and above what the city does. So in order to fund that, they do an assessment on each of the properties, and it's based on, for each property, it's based on how much benefit, in other words, how much percentage of their property is facing the street that's being benefited. So there's a calculation to that, and that's how that comes out.
So they pay like an annual assessment?
Yeah, it gets collected through the annual property tax assessment. We just completed that, so yeah. This is a special one that there are other sidewalk maintenance assessment districts, And because of Proposition 218, a lot of them are rigid. They can't be increased unless there's another vote. In this case, there's an automatic tie-in to the consumer price index, so it allows them to increase incrementally to follow, inflation if that's what's happening.
Thank you.
Great, thank you. Anything further? I don't have any questions.
Oh, just if I can add.
I do have one question, but go ahead.
The status of the actual contract.
That's my question.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So the status, in terms of the status, the CAO just finished their report, and I actually called the mayor's office, Manny Morales, and she confirmed that the contract was approved for execution, and that they notified the office. So we met after getting that confirmation. We actually had the contractor sign the contract, and now actually the contracts are with the city attorney for final execution. We met with the Far East Landscape a couple weeks ago, week and a half ago, and we had sort of a meet and greet with the council office, with the chamber in the area, and actually the inspectors, just to make sure that the expectations were established on the new contract, because these guys are brand new. They're just starting. However, they're planning actually to hire the staff member who was working with the previous contractor. So somebody's already familiar with the area, and so it should be a pretty smooth transition.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Jordan, you have a red folder there.
Yeah, I have the contracts, and I will be signing them.
Oh, great. So,
okay, so it's moving.
So it looks like
hopefully this is the last extension that we will ask for.
It looks like we've made it
This
to
should
the
be
end of the road here on the contract. We'll get it done. All right, thank you. I'll make a motion that we adopt agenda item number 18. Is there a second? Commissioners Davis and Repenning, any objection? Without objection, we'll adopt number 18. Thank you, Sergio.
Thank you.
And any issue sending number 18 forthwith, we'll send number 18 forthwith. Agenda item number 19, Sidewalk Repair Program Update, Bureau of Engineering. Robert Vega and Amber Elton. Here we go.
Good morning, Robert Vega with the Bureau of Engineering. I am the recently appointed Division Manager for the Sidewalk Division.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you very much. And I want to take this opportunity to introduce myself and let you know that I look forward to working with the board on this very important sidewalk repair program. Thank you. Today we're here to present an update on the sidewalk repair program, and for that I'm going to have Ms. Amber Elton of our staff do the presentation. Amber.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Amber Elton, Bureau of Engineering, Sidewalk Division.
This is your second report on these, correct?
Yes, it is.
How about
second,
that?
Second
Go ahead.
report and second time speaking at board.
Oh, okay. Well, you're a professional now. All right.
So today's report will cover a general overview of the sidewalk repair program, as well as updates on the environmental impact report, the rebate program, the prioritization report, alternative materials, and tree work coordination. So this is a completed city facilities site. It's South Broadway Pocket Park. And you can see the original sidewalk had some temporary asphalt patching, non-compliant cross slopes, and the newly constructed sidewalk has compliant cross slopes, and we also added parkway along the entire side block. This sidewalk repair is located on Canoga Park Senior Citizen Center. It's also a city facilities site. At this location, the original sidewalk did not have a flat walkway across the driveway. And so, as you can see now, the new sidewalk has that flat area behind the driveway for pedestrian access. We also widened the tree wells, which allowed us to keep the trees at this site. This next site is an access request. As you can see, we installed a new curb ramp.
It was even sunnier after the work was done. You improved the weather.
A good day. As you can see, this site required extensive pavement work due to the ADA clear space that's required at the bottom of the curb ramp. You can see that sort of flat area at the bottom We have to do a lot of transition work to the street. This allows anyone who's using a wheelchair that they can have a flat space to turn in either direction to cross the street. This is another access request site. This site required widening of the sidewalk and reworking of the driveway to achieve ADA compliance. Here we have a rebate site. The original sidewalk was ramped up due to tree root damage. There was also a lot of temporary asphalt patching. The tree was removed and replaced and new compliant sidewalk installed. Here we have another rebate site. This site had extensive damage to the sidewalk and driveway approach. As you can see, the new sidewalk is now ADA compliant, and we had to also repair the driveway approach in order to tie into the new sidewalk. Environmental impact report update. The scoping period ended on September 15th, and we held 3 public scoping meetings at various locations. Over 300 comments were received. The topics of interest were annual and total cost of the program, alternative materials, trees, construction impacts, and safety. We are currently collecting data as we move into the draft EIR phase. We expect the draft EIR by spring of 2018. The rebate program. Since increasing the rebate cap on August 1st, we've received over 900 new applications. 34 sites have received certificate of compliance since increasing the cap, and 83 total sites have been completed under the rebate program. Prioritization report. It's required per the sidewalk settlement agreement and per City Council direction. The prioritization report assigns a numerical score to each site. It was submitted to the City Clerk on September 27th. For access request sites, they'll be scored based on location, whether they're in residential neighborhoods and close to transit stops. They'll also receive priority based on how long they've been in the queue. So if they've been in the queue for over 120 days, then they'll receive priority. For city facilities sites and program access improvements, there are a few more topics to be scored on. Location, type of use, whether it's in a high injury network, incident reports, damage severity, and cost effectiveness. The prioritization report will help us to address the volume of sidewalk requests and reports we receive. It will enable us to prioritize efficiently and focus resources on high priority sites. Alternative materials pilot program. It will include multiple packages to cover sites in all 15 council districts. Material categories will include plastic sidewalk panels, rubber materials and pavers, cementitious pavers, pervious concrete, and alternative cementitious materials. And then we'll be evaluating those based on the proposed criteria will be cost, performance, and we have some other considerations. And we're currently preparing construction packages that will go to bid by the end of the month, and we do plan on utilizing our small contractors for some of these packages. Tree work coordination. We're coordinating with City Plants and with the Bureau of Street Services Urban Forestry Division. City Plants is planting and Urban Forestry Division is maintaining. In this photo, you can see that UFD has installed gator bags on these trees. A single gator bag holds an extra 15 gallons of water and provides slow, deep irrigation. This concludes my report. Any questions?
Commissioner Jacinto.
Thank you, President James. Amber, great report. Good to see you again. Thank you for your work on this, for the first part of this program that's going to be with us for a generation. Robert, welcome to the Bureau of Engineering, from low impact development to sidewalk access repair. It's good affirmation to know that people can move across our great bureaus. So welcome to the Bureau of Engineering. I just had a comment. We're learning a lot of things as we get this program underway. Again, over 30 years, We're going to be doing this for a long time. And I want to make note of the rebate program in terms of the challenges and the opportunities we have. Hopefully that there'll be more subscribers to that program as we're giving an incentive for property owners to be able to fix and release. So that's one thing. And the second is that overall the frame of it being primarily an access, a sidewalk access repair program, as opposed to basically a citywide sidewalk repair program. Their lens and the primacy of the access is important for us, and thus the prioritization of the access and the city facilities is very, very important. So that's a lens I want us to really focus on as we move forward. But great start. Thank you both for the oral report.
Thank you, Commissioner. And as far as the rebate program, since we've increased the rebates amount, we've seen the number of requests go up significantly.
Yeah, and if I can just add to that, Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, Commissioner Jacinto, a great question in terms of the rebate program. We do have about 821 folks that are on the wait list, and what we are observing, and we do report on a biweekly basis to the Commission and also to working with our counterparts at Bureau of Engineering, is that we noticed since the new rebate program went into effect August 1st, we used to have about maybe 15 to 25 applications that are on the wait listed. Now we're experiencing close to about 80 per week. So we're almost tripling or almost closely to quadruple the number of folks that really want to move forward with that. What we don't know, though, is that they may be interested and they're waitlisted. What we don't know is whether they actually are eligible or not. So until there's additional funding dedicated to the rebate program, we will not even be able to look at those applicants unless an existing applicant has removed themselves from the list, and then we can add anyone from the wait list. But great question. We do have a high demand. I think that the revisions to the program have actually made it more and more demanding, and we would love to see additional funds to that rebate program as well.
Thank you. Anything? Oh, we'll start with Commissioner Penning.
Sure. I just, on the rebate program, I think the numbers look great. I think if there's a way going forward for us to actually put dollars behind that in terms of what we've invested as a city and what has been invested from the private, or in this case, the residents, so that we can look at how we're leveraging our city investment. I think those would be good metrics for the program. And then I also just wanted to voice my support for efforts to reduce the wait list. I think, and I think we don't quite know yet whether the frequency of applications will continue. Are we always going to see this many per week, or is it going to sort of die down as the pent-up demand is relieved? But I do think that, when we make these programs available to the public and then people sign up and say, hey, I'm ready to do this, it's frustrating for them not to have the chance to do this. And so, and these are the things that people experience, a sense that the city doesn't work well. So however we can, whether for a short time, add resources to reducing the wait list, or in a more permanent way, as we sense what the flow kind of into the future is going to be, I definitely support that. Thank you for your efforts, Amber. Great presentation. Thanks, Robert.
Thank you, Commissioner Penning. Commissioner Rivas.
Congrats on your second presentation.
Thank you.
Welcome, Robert. It's great to see you as part of this team. My question is related to the scores, for your prioritization. Where are you in that process, and how long do you expect that to take?
Well, currently we've submitted it to the city clerk.
In terms of how you're going to score, right? So the actual scoring hasn't started?
No, the report will need to be approved first by City Council before we actually start implementing the prioritization. We will be applying that to our general sidewalk requests as well, which are currently on hold until the prioritization is approved. So the report has currently been referred to committee.
So we're waiting on City Council to approve your...
Yes.
Okay. And will those scores be public in any way? Or is that internal to BOE to determine the priority?
The actual priority list, the scores themselves will be public as far as what we're giving to for each category is public in the report. Whether or not we plan to publish the actual list of sites, I don't know if that will be public. I'll have to get back to you on that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Davis.
Amber, I wanted to thank you too for this outstanding report, and I'm very proud of what we've been able to do so far. I wanted to ask you and the staff, in terms of the challenges of the program, what do you see as the administrators working on the project that we should move forward on next as a priority from your perspective? Certainly we've given our own evaluation, but what is it that you have seen as the practitioner of this project?
Thank you, Commissioner Davis. Robert Vega. So far, I think the challenges that we're seeing, we have a number of miles of sidewalk that need to be repaired, a number of facilities that we want to do work at, and a great deal of access requests that we're receiving. I think with the approval of the prioritization system, we will be able to focus on the urgent ones, the more important ones first, and get to those. As always, with a new program, there's always the ramping up as far as having enough resources to do the work, to do the assessment, and all the coordination that goes into it. So but we're making good progress towards that.
Great. As it relates to the rebate program, the resources certainly are the problems in terms of trying to expedite the applicant pool and the services to those individuals to start. That's
Correct.
the issue.
Correct.
And I think Commissioner Repenning spoke to that. So hopefully through our communications and collaborations with council and others and the mayor's office that will become reality. But I want to thank you again for your work.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. As always, I like seeing the before and afters. I think they're important. They send an important message, and it's important for the Bureau to keep them as the program moves along. Because here's what happens. When we repair the sidewalks, and in these projects that you've shown us, when we're done, they look like they're supposed to look. And a week later, people don't realize that the work was done. And they forget about how bad it was. There are reminders in other parts of the city, of course. That's why we have such a long program. But, you do have to keep these before and afters, because not long, the people forget that the program was there and that the work was done, and it's on to other things. And because it's been so many years with the deferred maintenance that happened for so long that we really are in catch-up mode. And even though we're in catch-up mode, people still tend to, once the work is done, they tend to forget that the work was done. So they just think that's the way it's supposed to be, and it is, but it's a long road sometimes to get there. Thank you. The oral report will be received. Have we cleared the desk, Mr. Campos?
Yes, you have.
Okay, then we are adjourned.